Hey guys, welcome back. Today we're going to be looking at a really cool product that if you're like me and you like putting your kits out on display, this will elevate it to the next level. So what we have for you guys today from our awesome sponsors, Gundam Hanger, is the Condensed Light Composable Action Base. I wish I could read Chinese and tell you guys everything else that's on the box, but we'll look at that in a little bit. So this is, like I said, Condensed Light Composable Action Base NG11. We're gonna take a little quick look at the box, but real quick, I think for a third-party kit, the packaging is really nice and the material on the box is really cool. It's just something that I like to see because we've seen some third-party stuff that just comes in like a plain old cardboard box. There's nothing wrong with that. I'm just saying that they put a lot of effort into the presentation. But with the presentation comes a little bit of a sneak peek at what we can find inside of it. So we have the extensibility, just kind of showing what the hanger is going to look like once it's all built.
Future Jazz here. Upon further research, extensibility refers to the fact that if you buy multiple of these kits, you can put them together to create a bigger hanger. Hence the picture. I'm just dumb. I'm sorry.
And then we also have apparently some decals. Are they going to be water decals or are they not going to be water decals? I don't know. We'll have to look. And then on the other side, apparently it has three forms that we can play around with. So it says it has the weapon racks form, which of course is to put your weapons. And then we have the tower crane form along with the just maintenance base, which is pretty cool. Again, I wish I could read everything else in Chinese. I'm sure there'd be more information, but even just looking at the actual box, we can tell what we're gonna be working with. So let's unbox this baby and see what's inside. All right, let's get this guy open. We have a trusty knife here from our editor, Brian. Thank you so much. I couldn't find my knife, guys. Oh, actually, I'm gonna put the cap on because as I learned a couple months ago, it's dangerous to have them like that. So anyway, we open it up. Oh, let's take this guy up. Ooh. Ooh, okay, that's a tight fit. All right, we're gonna put this down in here. And then we're gonna open this up. Nice cardboard. All right, so we're met with the instruction booklet real quick, which is pretty nice. I like the, it's black and white on the inside, and then you have nice color. Yeah, it also has the decal placement, which I think is pretty cool. Again, this is a third-party kit. This is not a Bandai one, but this is pretty sick. We'll take a look at that later. And then we have, of course, the kit itself. I want to look at the decals. The decals are right in here. We'll take a look at them in a little bit. But yeah, just a bunch of runners. The plastic, though, I will say, from a first glance, looks very much third-party like. So it always has, I've built other third-party kits, and when it comes to Chinese third-party products, you get like a glowy gloss finish to them. I don't know if you can see that, but it's kind of glossy, which is not a bad thing. It just, you can tell that this isn't a Bandai kind of thing. And there's definitely some markings there for the molding. But real quick, we're gonna take a look at the decals, which is what I'm excited about. Because, oh, you don't even have to cut it open. It's already got a little hole here. Okay, so the knife was not needed there. The decals are water decals. These are water decals. And you're telling me how a third-party kit has water decals, but the PGU, which is a flagship kit, can't have them. Well, anyway, we're gonna get this guy built and we'll be right back. Okay, so we finally finished building the base because we did it right now. And let me just start off by saying that it's a pretty good build up to a certain point. And there's some things that you guys need to keep in mind when you are about to purchase this. So it's by no means a difficult build. It's pretty straightforward. And going to the topic of the manual is pretty well made. The only problem that we had, and I say we because Brian helped me build this, is that the runners come with the number, like the numbers for the parts as the manual will say, and just like a Bandai kit, it's also separated by letters, or so we thought. Which at the end of the day, it turned out that some were separated by letters, and then some were just kind of like, I don't really care about the letters. I'm just going to use the numbers. So for example, if it were to say. We found that out more on the E side of things. So specifically with the E runner, I think, and the A runner, I don't know if Brian, was it the A, I don't know. Well, we don't know. We're kind of like, it was a trip, okay? It was an adventure building this. The point is, with the E, it goes all the way up to like 84 or something like that when it comes to numbers. You have to just guide yourself by the numbers. Do not guide yourselves by the letters, because even the letters are very tiny on the runners. So we were like looking for runner, let's say runner B, and we were like, oh, we need to find B, and then we found B, but then the number wasn't in the B runner, and then it turned out to be in the E runner or something like that, and it's like, why? And it happened a bunch of times, which really threw us out of like the flow of building things. So building third-party kits really gives you another perspective when it comes to model building, and it really shows how amazing Bandai is at the tolerances and how precise their measurements are for pieces to fit in. And so what I mean by that is that we also ran into problems with pieces not really fitting. In this case, the railings. So the railings for the base, these ones right here are literally our worst enemies. This is our roadblock. This is where we hit this and we were like, wait, what is going on? And unfortunately this happened to Brian, and he was just a little frustrated because as much as he wanted to make these fit into the little seams that are already molded onto the piece, they wouldn't fit. It apparently was way too thick, like the railings were way too thick to go into the little seam. And so I ended up having to grab a knife, a hobby knife, and just carving out, just slicing away all the edges of the pieces. So just to show you what I mean, so that's how the little mechanic is. You just gotta push them in there. Oh my God, it's probably a bad idea. So anyway, that little thing here, it's supposed to go in. And at the end of the day, we ended up shaving, well, I ended up shaving every single railing that you see on here. Because if we didn't do that, it would never have gone in. And again, it really shows that Bandai knows what they're doing when it comes to their tolerances and their measurements. And I think, again, with a third-party kit, it happens, right? You can't expect to go into a third-party kit and get the same results as Bandai does. There's a reason why they're on the top of their game when it comes to this stuff. But with that said, it comes with a lot of nice little gimmicks. You have a little crane, which I think is pretty cool. Unfortunately, that's another thing. Speaking of the parts going in together, let me bring this one out. Brian just got every single piece that was super tight. So this little thing that works just like any kind of thing that Bandai has made out there in order to lift it up and make it a little bit longer. It pulls down, and even now I can't do it. And if I keep doing it, I'm just afraid I'm gonna hurt my finger. In order to bring the crane up, I had to actually bring out my thicker and do that. You're not gonna be able to do that with your fingers or your fingernail. If you do it, I'm almost sure your fingernail is gonna come off. And then once you do that, you're able to do this. I think that's, again, it's not to be hard on this, just being real. It's a little annoying that you can't really play around with this with just your fingers. You have to bring another tool, which again, there's a solution, but it shouldn't really be like that. This little piece here is pretty cool though. Aesthetically, it hides the little lever, and it's a little railing. Another thing that it has are these little robotic arms. I don't really understand. Oh, there, you guys just saw what happened there. Robotic arms that really don't move. Okay, so you start touching it and these things start popping out because they're not really all the way in. I'm trying to fix this here. It's amazing. I do like it. And I love how it looks, and I think it goes well with certain kits. But I think they could have done a better job with the railing. Condensed light, if you're watching this video, you have to revise this, okay? The railings are they're a nightmare. Okay, it also has, so the little robotic arms, they don't move a lot. If you move them, they're pretty tight on there. You can move them a little bit, but you have to put some force in there. It kind of feels like things are gonna break. So it's pretty tight on there. Don't expect to have the freedom of movement that you would get with, again, a Bandai kit. I know I keep referencing that, but it's just the way it is. This is the hobby we're in, okay? They have little railings for your weapons. So if your kit has a weapon, in this case, I'm gonna just take this, we can just put it on there. I don't know if you can see that, but if you can, it's pretty cool. It just goes in there. You have one on each side, and then over here you have like a little armor thing that you can put little pieces inside. At the end of the day, aesthetically, this is awesome. I really, really like the way it looks. But like I said, I just have to point out the negatives. Another thing that needs to be pointed out is that a lot of these pieces are very tightly put together, which is not good. You know, having something that won't move sounds cool in practice, like, okay, you know, it's solid. But if you're a customizing kind of person, and you want to paint the base and you want to add, I don't know, more detail, which I don't really think you need to. I do think that the molding is pretty cool in the sense that they added a lot of detail. But if you want to paint it and do color separation, you want to mask it, taking the base apart, taking everything apart is going to be a little bit of a heart attack, because a lot of these pieces are put together in such a way that they're very tight, and I feel that if you start taking them apart, you're going to put a lot of force and a lot of stress onto the piece, and it's going to break, and that's just bad news because you don't want that to happen. That's how I feel. I haven't taken it apart because I'm scared to, more than anything. I'm scared to take it apart. Another thing that the base comes with is a little stand for a kit. Now, I'm not going to use this, but you can. I feel like this would be better for smaller kits that you want to put on the base. Again, so for example, we have the real grade unicorn here that just fits on there and it lifts it up a little bit, because if it didn't have the little stand for a 1/144th scale kit, it would look pretty weird. I'll show you guys right now how that looks, and we'll just make a segue onto the size of this. So 1/144th, and I chose the RG Unicorn because the RG Unicorn by itself, just as a real grade, is a pretty big kit, because the Unicorn in the lore is a pretty big kit, so they're made to scale. It looks weird. That and the scale of the railings and the scale of the steps that we have on each side really kind of mess with your mind. It doesn't go well together. It just seems smaller than it is. So what we have over here is a regular sized 1/100th Sniper 2, and it looks way better. It fits in line with the little, it just makes sense scale wise. And another guy that I'm going to be bringing in here, which I think will look a lot better, is the new Verka. So I think the new Verka looks 100 times better on this base. I feel like what they really were going for here was a little bit of the look of the new Verka metal structure base that it comes with. You know, the $1,000 new. That's probably not even $1,000 anymore. It's like $5,000 in some places because it's so, you know, rare nowadays. But it really looks good. I think the scale of the new Verka along with this looks pretty well together. But you could do a lot. I feel like this looks great. You know, put the little guys around, buy some hanger guys, which I have. Maybe if you guys want to see me paint this up and make a little diorama with the new Verka, let me know in the comments and I'll do it. But yeah, I think this looks freaking amazing. So another thing that the base comes with, aside from the robotic arms, there's extra railings on here in case you end up breaking some of these when you're putting them in, because you might with all of the force you're going to be using to push them in. And they also come with little plugs that are meant to be used to cover up the holes that are scattered all over the base, which is pretty cool because you have a lot of possibilities with maybe other bases or other things that, because these are pretty standard plug holes or base holes. What are we gonna call them? Base holes? I don't know. They're holes. I'll show them over here. These little holes here. If you don't want to see your base full of holes, I think I'm saying the word hole a lot. You can use these and just plug them in. They go in easy as pie. I have one right here that's already cut out because the other one fell as I was moving stuff around. But let's just put it in here. Ooh. I don't know if that's visible on camera, but there it is. There's a little plug in there. And yeah, you could just plug it up and it's just like nice and smooth all over. It's a pretty cool thing to do. And of course, the other thing that I was very excited about are the water decals, which I think is pretty cool for a third-party company to send you water decals. I don't know the quality of them. I haven't put them on. I will soon enough, but I think it's just a really cool add-on. Just a little cool thing to have on there. So I will applaud them for that. I won't see myself using this too much because I feel like this is too tiny. One thing to mention is that I know that these are pretty outdated. Oh, okay, I don't know what I did. Anyway, these little things are outdated. They're more for high grades and for older kits of Bandai's. But if your kit comes with, you know, for example, the Dynamis, the Barbatos, they most of the time come with their own little piece that would go on a connector like this. And then you just plug it in and you could just say goodbye to the little mechanic over here and then just have it there. And this is pretty tight because it works with a little, just like the Bandai stands, the action bases, it has a little screwdriver there to just go on there. But yeah, overall, I do like this base a lot. I do feel like there's a lot of things that they could do better. Check the tolerances, make the railings thinner at the bottom part that connects to the seam lines. But then again, you can't ask for too much because this is a third-party kit. Would I recommend it myself? Honestly, I would. Aside from the railings, because that's the most, you know, terrible part, I would recommend it. I think it'd be really cool to put some lights on there underneath the railings. There's some hollow spaces here underneath that could really, you know, with wiring, make it a nice dial, like I said, especially with the Vercage. I mean, the new Vercage, I just think looks phenomenal on there. But let me know what you guys think. Would you guys get it? Are you guys gonna get it? And with that said, I'll talk to you guys later.
Hey guys, I just really want to thank GundamHanger.com for sending us this kit one more time. Go check out their website. I'm going to leave all the links down in the description. You guys can find tools, P-Bandai kits, normal kits, whatever you guys might want. So if you're in Canada or the States, definitely go over there and check them out. I also want to give a quick thanks to our awesome patrons and supporters of the GTS fam who have been really there for us. We're going to be bringing out new content as we promised, so definitely hit the like button or dislike button and let us know in the comments how we can improve. And of course, hit the notification bell because this isn't a YouTube video if no one says that. Regardless, guys, take care.